I thought, like, am I missing a 12 boy? I thought I saw him building a drone, but I was like, okay.
Just always look at the mini-map.
I'm always looking at that mini-map.
Generally good advice.
You crunch numbers, Jeff. I pay attention to mini-maps.
That's true. Yeah. Todd looks at supplies.
Together,
Big looks at roaches.
And together, we're all one commentator.
Yeah.
You know? If you put all of us together,
Make a decent commentator. All of us combined. We make one Artosis, probably.
So there is a pilot being wiped in the natural. That's very good news, by the way, because RagnaroK was not building a pool, was not taking a gas yet. Maybe he was going to eventually, but sometimes Zerg players are always like, you know what, eventually that probe will go into the main, double hatch before pool, and that can get a little bit awkward for Protoss, because then you immediately feel like you need to apply some pressure. The one thing, though, Jeff, whenever I pylon block on small maps, and once again, this is the smallest map, guys, we currently have, if I pylon block a Zerg, I'm always a little bit worried that I invite them to all in me.
Yeah.
You can't really complain about it either, because if you are preventing them from attacking you, you can't be me-me-meing on the other side of the map when they do show up with a couple of Links and Banes. But RagnaroK actually took his gas pretty late, so I think that's a little bit less likely right now.
Yep. And you can see the drone in position to go ahead and take that third hatch as well. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really do that much. RagnaroK does get the quote-unquote natural done at the third. So it's a slight delay in things like the Queen and that kind of stuff, but not a real big deal. On the flip side, Neeb, again, going to do what Neeb does, which is throw an Adept at you as fast as possible, continue to get information, and then from behind that, things change a little bit.
Yep, but the most annoying thing for Zerg players when they have to take their first expand way further away than the natural is that the Adept is going to shade to the other side of the map, and normally you want to transfer some drones, right, as a Zerg player. You're going to saturate your main very quickly, and then it's normal to send a couple of drones towards your natural. Now those drones are going to be a lot more vulnerable to this Adept that forces you to make links earlier, but you don't want to do that as a Zerg player. You want to delay those links for as long as you can. And I think Neeb has shown us a couple of very cool timings over the weekend, by the way. It seems like he's not doing it this game, but with multiple Adepts and Stargates, I really love the way that Neeb executes those kind of Oracle Adept openings.
Very good at the Adepts. We were actually on the way back from one of these days. There's been so many days of Starcraft. Talking about a player kind of recapping how Neeb's Adepts seem to just hit a little bit faster, a little bit harder, because he's just so crisp about them. I mean, almost every PvZ I've ever seen him play, it looks like this right here, which seems mundane to the kind of average eye. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but when it's getting there faster, it's shading constantly, it's doing the right stuff.
Okay, good job there by RagnaroK. He was actually hiding the Zergling, so Neeb thought that this was very safe. It turned out that wasn't that safe. One Adept is going to go down. I think Neeb got one drone there and a couple of Zerglings, so this was a pretty even trade across the board.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why I like this from Neeb. Ooh, one more? Oh my god. Damn.
Throw a rock. Make the building
God! That's just at the bottom, like yelling up at it, because you know I can hear it too. It is going to be a Dark Shrine, which in the past we kind of freaked out about, but it's not. It's going to be an Archon drop. But what I do like about this, and you see some Protoss will try it, the Warp Prism will get out, get halfway across the map, warp in the 4 DTs, instead of turning into Archon, excuse me, 2 Archons immediately, poke and prod. If they're a little bit cheap on the Spore Crawlers, or maybe they're not moving fast enough, you can get a hatchery, and that's why I kind of like this version. Now, the deficit of this is that without that Temple Archives, you do later have to make that, because you can't make it into the middle game of a PvZ more than likely without Storm and that kind of stuff.
The lair got started 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. That's fast. It's not ultra super crazy fast, but it is fast. We see the Ro12 being thrown down now as well. There is a possibility for some Nidus plays, but I'm not sure if RagnaroK is going to go for it.
Oh, there's the first support, but just one, Kevin. Where is it? The third. So the main and natural are open. No Overseers just yet. I'll tell you what, man, if you're making an Overseer when DTs are in your base, not a good feeling. And I think we're about to have that.
And RagnaroK actually hasn't entered the main base, so he's morphing an Overseer now, but I think the Overseer is being... Okay, it's actually in the main base. I was like, maybe he's on the other side of the map, so he's just going to go for Archons immediately. I don't really hate this move for Neeb because of that Overseer that was morphing in the main base.
That was the part of it early. I mean, this is terrible timing for Neeb, unfortunately. There's so much that he could have done. Oh, there is an Overseer, right, okay.
Yeah.
So it ends up being okay.
A little bit unfortunate with the spawning of the roaches there, because if a couple of those roaches were actually spawned on the north side, or the Archons would have showed up here while the roaches came out of the main, there is a chance that Neeb gets a little more done. But if you look at the workers, this is going totally alright for Neeb. He's up by 6, and we're already 5 minutes and 27 seconds into this game, by the way. Of course, this Nexus is maybe you could say a little bit later than what it could have been, but I think this is still very even across the board.
It is, and that's part of the reason why I like this opening from Neeb, and you'll see it so commonly from him. The Adepts followed by the Archon. it's not really super committal, right? It's more of a check back against the Zerg. It's like, I want to see if you're doing timing attacks. I want to see if you're doing an all-in. Spire would be weird, but sees normal stuff right now.
This is some real damage, though. Getting 4 or 5 drones in this phase in the game. He should at least be able to get one more. He's going to shade towards the base in the north side. I don't know if any roaches were left behind. RagnaroK is confused, distracted by that War Prism as well. Neeb is looking good right now, Jeff. Yeah. This was not a massive investment, but Neeb is getting some real damage done. The Archons in the main base. Got an Overlord there. It all starts piling up, and that's what you want as a Protoss.
It's also a fantastic way to start a best of 5, because these are comfortably good things for him. It's not game-ending and like RagnaroK is on the ropes right now, but it's one of those things where Neeb's feeling good. He's getting the mechanics for his matchup underway, and he's getting stuff done.
I love this. He's like, hey, that went really good. I'm going to try it again. So once again, Neeb's going to warp into Adepts. The Adepts are going to run into the Roaches. This time they'll be less successful, but maybe the Archons can get a couple of drones here. I think they got 1 Roach, 1 drone so far, so not as good as the first one, but it's not always a party.
But it's keeping the Zerg back. He's not losing anything here. The Queens had to come back into the main, and Neeb's seeing the composition. Every time 20 Roaches show up to kind of throw away the Archons, and it's not Hydras, it's not mass Lings, that's Neeb taking a mental check against what he's facing. He's now going to fight some creep here as well.
He's doing a really good job in pushing the creep back. I think Neeb has done everything well so far, other than spotting that infestation pit that the Observer just showed us. The infestation pit was
but it's at the natural. It's kind of a hard thing to spot, I would say. Right?
It's in third base, right? Third base.
Well, even harder.
Yep. But it would be nice to pick up on that, because we know how powerful Swarm Host can be in this matchup. And if there's one thing that I have seen Neeb struggle a little bit with, it's Swarm Host play in this matchup every now and then. So the sooner Neeb scouts that, the better. Other than that, a pretty damn good game so far by the American Protoss.
Yep. I fully agree on everything you just said. Now, Swarmers are coming out right now. Neeb's army is making its way to the third. I think the other kind of bell that has to go off in Neeb's head right now is maybe he hasn't spotted the infestation bit. Well, not even maybe, we know he hasn't, but it's just roaches. That's got to be a suspicious thing, right? Like, it's not even a critical amount of roaches. What else is coming?
Well, what if he expects Mudas or something, because he's actually building cannons at home.
But even this is okay. Like, fighting the Swarmos in the middle of the map is way better than ending up having them on your half.
Now, it is really important when Neeb fights like 10 Swarmos that all spawn 2 Locusts, that he runs away. You can get a couple shots up, maybe get a guard.
Force field that arm.
Every now and then with a Guardian Shield and Archons, you can actually do well. But it's a little bit dangerous, because RagnaroK's army is bigger, but let's see if these Locusts can get the engagement that they're looking for.
And we're going to have a little bit of a fight here. He's actually fighting the Locusts in waves a little bit, ferrying back the wounded Archons to the back lines. The Immortal's doing so much damage. Supplies pretty in favor of RagnaroK, but a lot of that is Swarm Host, so it's a little bit of deceiving supply. He's going to go up into the natural. I don't think he has a whole lot in the way of force fields with the army coming up here. There's just the one force field going to kind of make that space a little bit more narrow. And Neeb's getting a little bit spread out. He's got to be careful here.
Yeah, there's one Immortal taking quite a bit of damage, but this is good so far. Neeb does not save it, though. That's kind of a shame. The Swarmos obviously very eager to fight. 16 drones going down already, but Neeb cannot afford to just lose all of his Immortals. Look at the focus fire on those Roaches, by the way.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Just get out of there. You don't need to fight those Locusts, Neeb. Put everything on the high ground for all I care. Ooh.
Yeah. Can he get there? He's going to do it.
That's 3 Immortals. 3 Immortals and a Prism against Roaches and Queens. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the Immortals are low, but as long as the Locusts don't get on top of it,
that Immortal.
He saves all of them still.
It's so little health. Okay. Now, he does lose 1 there, but the Zealots are on top of this. That's it. RagnaroK said he's had enough. The supplies were heavily in favor of Neeb. We're both looking at the battle at hand. Neeb's got to be happy with that first game. It's the Adept phase it went well. The Archon phase, we could unpack that forever, but the point is, Neeb, very good. RagnaroK gave him a good run for his money. Neeb was just playing on an 11th gear there.
Yep, that means we have hopped into the second map over here, and at the left bottom side, we're looking at the main base of the American Protoss player. So far, very good. It is Neeb.
And in the top right-hand side, playing red hot, but needing to see some of that now, it's the Red Zerg RagnaroK from Team Sidestorm Gaming.
Of course, Ting, very happy with their Neeb.
They have to be.
Yeah. One of the best pickups. I was like, we should get this American Protoss. Oh, he won 3 out of 4 WCS events since 2017.
That was a good pickup a while ago.
Yes.
I wish he made more phone calls. You know? That's going to be the next evolution of Neeb, is they get him more social. Can you imagine a commercial with Neeb, like, answering a phone? But, hello, this is Neeb.
No, I cannot. Actually, Jeff, I can imagine a lot of
Not
things.
right now, Cassandra. I'm playing Starcraft.
No, I can't picture that. Nope,
right,
sorry.
Well, maybe someday. is going to be that pylon block again, and I did like the way Roddy broke it down last time, but we're seeing a little bit of a difference thing from here from RagnaroK.
Yep.
Let's go with the pool first.
Yep, and once again, that means that things can get a little bit dicey. Neeb wanted to block it one more time. But it is important now that Neeb keeps some vision on the other side of the map. Because this time RagnaroK took his gas a lot faster. He didn't expand on the south side. He didn't wait. Nope, he's like, you're blocking me. Gas, pool gas. The order doesn't even matter that much. What you do know right now as a Protoss, this could be a link float. This could be a bailing bust. It could be a Roach Ling rush or a Ravager rush. And it can also be a super fast Nidus. So it is really important that Neeb plays his game a little more cautious. And I mean, preferably A keeps a probe on the side of the map of RagnaroK, because if you send out your first adept...
He won't though, but yes.
And you lose that first adept, you barely have any DPS at home. So then even if you get link flooded and you scout it in advance, you have no DPS and you can die as a Protoss.
I think for us mere mortals, I fully agree with you. For Neeb, I think the logic is that his adepts will stay alive, and if he makes enough lings to run them down and kill them, then that in and of itself is some kind of alarm.
That's okay, that probe is not going to be able to keep these links out. This is super annoying though, because Neeb's adept wants to move to the other side of the map. It needs to get some information about things that are going on. But on the other hand, he needs to clean up these two links as well. Otherwise, these links are going to be very, very annoying. This is scary as a Protoss. We know that right now RagnaroK is not doing anything crazy, but that's not something that Neeb could possibly know.
Right. Well, the links were cleaned up. So actually... to Kevin's point, look at this. This is why you like him so much, isn't he? He's like, you know what? I don't know for sure, so let's send another clean probe over there.
Neeb is playing really good. And like you said as well, the way that he handled that big battle with the force fields. Neeb is not a trigger-happy Protoss. I'm going to be honest, Jeff. I'm a pretty trigger-happy Protoss. If I panic, it's not one storm, it's four of them. And I don't rely on the two force fields being correct. I'd rather use four to make sure
everything happens. Triple Guardian Shield force field.
Yes, exactly. But no, Neeb is playing really good. Even that small detail there, sending out that probe, making sure he doesn't die to something silly. RagnaroK is not doing anything silly. We can see that, of course, because we see everything as casters. But Neeb, very, very solid and sound so far.
Yep. Gonna open with the Oracle, followed by the Phoenix. Phoenix will clean the map on his half, at least, of Overlords. Oracle going to do what it can to get some brass in, and then perhaps reside itself to Recon. Clears those adepts. Now these lings have speed, so if they finish anywhere near the base, they're dead. We'll get minimal damage done.
Wow.
This time spotting.
+1 melee build by RagnaroK. We saw the Evolution Chamber already, now finished up, and he's actually going for +1 melee. I didn't really see this one coming. Did Neeb spot that Evo Chamber? I don't think he did, right? I don't think he really got... Nope, he didn't get to that part of the natural. But he does see there are no drones here, and obviously Neeb is not crazy. And he sees a couple of links, but on an overwhelming amount, he also spots the Spore Crawler here, which suggests that, you know, RagnaroK obviously does want to play some sort of a macro game. It would be nice if this Oracle can get in there and spot an Evo Chamber, because that would be a massive scout.
It's in a pretty tough spot for me to see that happening, I would say.
No
Unless he lets
here.
these finish.
That would have actually been good, because the links were on the other side of the map. Oh,
Kevin,
there's
5 gateways right now, by the way. So I feel like we should probably mention that.
L'explosion de gateway?
Yes.
Ah! It's more!
7 gateways. That's kind of what I'm talking about, though. And guess what? +1 melee, very good in this situation.
Yes, but I feel like that in general kicks in a little bit later, right? Because it's very good if Zerg gets up to, like, let's say 51 drones, and then you can spam a never-ending wave of Zerglings.
51 drones. Kevin.
But like Neeb is not delaying this. I actually like. I kind of like this for Neeb. If I'm 8-gating, Jeff, I'd rather face Zerglings than, let's say, Ling Bane without upgrades or Roaches. Roaches are the worst thing to face with your gateway units. Because Neeb, I don't think he's even waiting for an Immortal. He's just 8-gating.
Yeah.
And that's actually pretty damn good for Neeb.
Could be. He's got the sentries coming out first. He's going to try to bank up some force field energy over there. Right now, it's all eyes on RagnaroK. Are you seeing this coming? Because there is no third base attempt. No, the two guys trying to get away there. Come on!
I don't even understand how that happened. That stasis felt so far away.
And he does see the Warp Prism, so now he knows.
And Nidus, that's so funny. RagnaroK wants to attack Neeb, but Neeb is like, no, I'm actually planning to attack you. So if I'm RagnaroK, I cancel the Nidus, and that's exactly what he does. He's like, whoa, wait a minute, I should probably get some range units. Now he gets a Bailing Nest as well, but that's going to be very late, Jeff. I'm worried for RagnaroK, man. He needs way more lings than he currently has. We know that Neeb is good with the force fields. It's possible, but RagnaroK
Kevin,
seems
he's in
like...
trouble. You're supposed to bait out force fields in the middle of the map. You're supposed to buy time. We didn't really mention, but this map's not very large either. And
he gets the Oracle very quickly. Oh, yep, the Oracle does go down. The War Prism needs to stay safe, and it does stay safe. A lot of these Lings have already disappeared.
Yeah, all the Lings are gone. That's the +1 attack there. Baneling's not finished yet. Hydra Den finishes, but there's no Hydras coming out because why would you? They're not even upgraded. It's just Queens, and if the Queens have support, that's great, but when they're by themselves, not so much. Trying to get the War Prism, but not nearly enough time or space. And here comes Neeb. He's up 90. Army supply 50 to 28. It's not going to be close, ladies and gentlemen. As Neeb surges forward, the just kind of smattering of units coming off these attachments is just not it. RagnaroK says, what the heck, man? I didn't see this coming. And the Queens, they're going to get picked off.
Yep, not a perfect voiceful there. He's going to trap these Queens. GG, Neeb takes a very quick and easy 2-0 victory. But if I would knight as Neeb with Lings and Queens, I'd rather do it as quickly as possible instead of researching a +1 melee.
Well, we'll never know. I mean, that game's in the books. It's 2-0 in favor of this guy in the lower right-hand side. Representing Ting, it's the blue Protoss, Neeb. Looking calm, cool, and collected.
On the left up side, this man, Katowice, needs your support right now because he needs to turn things around. This tournament live is on the line. Representing Storm Gaming, it is RagnaroK.
And hopefully RagnaroK's got some fight in him. We've started off with 2-3 zeros. A little bit of a meltdown in each of those. I would not call this a meltdown from RagnaroK so much as, and maybe I'm biased, certainly I am, but Neeb is playing out of his mind. Like his execution, it's been very good.
And a little bit, like, StarCraft 2 is obviously not a game of luck. But
there is luck.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of luck sometimes. And Neeb going for an 8-gate. Like, if RagnaroK would have used the same build as he did in Game 1 with the quicker Roach Warren and RagnaroK scouts it, then he can just hold down that Roach button, and having Roaches against any sort of mass gateway attack is absolutely fantastic for Zerg. And even if it's a very quick, safe Baneling nest, that can already be a lot better as well. It's a little bit more complicated because force fields can mess up your Banes, but +1 Lings is pretty much the worst thing in the world for a Zerg player while you're being 8-gated. So it's just unfortunate for RagnaroK.
Everything about it. Everything about it. I mean, he didn't even actually use Guardian Shield until he was at the ramp fighting the Queens. That was the first use of any Sentry energy. It didn't get scouted because the Phoenix that followed up the Oracle did a great job of clearing all the Overlords. They didn't scout anything. And RagnaroK, like you said, is probably operating off of a lot of what everyone else thinks, which is Neeb is mostly known for his just 3 or 4 base macro play. He does mix in those all-ins, but they're kind of rare, right? It's definitely not what he mostly does. So RagnaroK caught off guard, and he's got to bounce back.
That's a little bit like Showtime as well, right? Showtime is also known for his macro and his strong defensive plays. But on the other hand, even Showtime says in interviews that it's important to switch it up. You know, I cannot always be the predictable guy that's only going to defend because people will exploit it and they will play greedier than they should. So, yeah, Neeb playing a little bit into his image there as well, showing us that he's capable of some of those good old NA ladder replays strategies.
Yeah, but execute at Neeb level. It's some kind of something else. Yeah,
makes it better.
It's fun watching him, right? Like, it's just, he's got some phenomenal control. So the Adept's going to back up to the middle of the map. It is a Twilight Council behind this. I think we should return back to that Archon drop. But again, like I said, not to be that guy, but sometimes he'll do a glaive timing attack as well. If it gets scouted here, I think that's a lot harder to believe.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with glaives, right? The only downside of glaives at this point is that if you get Roach Nidus, glaives are not very good, right? You basically need to shut down every Nidus as quickly as you can possibly see it. But things can get very, very gnarly. If one Nidus pops off even a little bit, you're going to be in trouble. So that's why I think the robotics facility makes a little more sense here. He picked off a couple of Zerglings, doesn't get much else. RagnaroK is going to end up losing his Overlord in the main base to the Stalker. But that Robo's already halfway done. I guess he got the Robo in the natural. Is that correct?
I was going to say maybe Templar Archives this time around, but it's going to be Dark Shrine again. And it will just be that Archon drop. We'll have to see if Neeb maybe mixes it up a little bit here, too.
RagnaroK was researching speed, and then he cancelled speed.
For a lair.
And then he went for a quicker lair.
Maybe that lair button's just still sticking in his brain, because he wanted it last game. He's like, I got to get the Nidus in. Contractually obligated to do it.
Well, he makes a Roach Warren, and he doesn't have Zergling speed. So there's still an Overlord on the south side. Looks like a Nidus, smells like a Nidus. Could definitely be a Nidus. Going for Nidus being down 0-2, by the way, in a best of 5 with tournament live on the line. It's a big decision. It's a big call to make.
It is a big call, for sure. It's also a really good one, though. Must be nice for Zerg players, right? Where they're like, I'm going to take a big risk here and go with the overpower strategy.
I don't know, man. You warp in at first Nidus and 2 Dark Templars slice away at it and get shut down. Lenok has been in that position as well against Neeb on
That's
year
thinking
0.
in the box, Kevin. You wait for stuff to come out, then you snipe it down, then the DT's chopper came out, and you lose the game anyways, which is a bad choice.
It is quite a few drones though on the side of RagnaroK, so maybe he just feels like he doesn't want to make Zerglings at all, and he's going for roaches, but now he's getting a pretty quick Overseer, but that could just be to be safe against the Dark Templars. For now, it's safety roaches. It's quite a few safety roaches. We'll see what he decides to do, but he didn't drop the Nidus yet. Maybe he doesn't want it to get scouted, or maybe he doesn't want to invest in it at this point because he wants to get roaches out as quickly as possible.
I feel like if it was nice, we'd still be seeing queens coming out. You go for mass queens alongside it. I think he's just being safe.
Yeah, he's going back into drones. No, one queen does go down, by the way. That's a bit unfortunate because RagnaroK actually made a lot of roaches against just 2 Archons. And then you don't want to be losing any queens, Jeff. You're really not supposed to lose anything there at all. A couple, I won't say drones, but that's not true at all. A single queen went down.
Kevin's like, I disagree with the overlay. I saw a couple drones die.
I'm sure I saw a couple drones dying, guys. But 6 Overlords being produced at once, by the way. That was a lot. He lost one. Oh, I guess that's what he lost. He lost an Overlord. I saw something explode.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So many things exploding. Creep Chamber dies there as well.
I knew something went down. Something popped off, Jeff.
Kevin knew it. That's why they pay him the big bucks. Whoa! That's actually a mistake.
And the Observer as well. So that's a nice double kill there for RagnaroK. Doesn't just get the Archon, but he gets the Observer too. 2 Adepts are going to sneak in once again, and the Adepts on Cyber Forest did so much damage. The Roaches are here to save the day. Neeb's shots were actually a little bit desynced there. That's kind of unfortunate. Neeb could have picked up maybe one more drone than he's going to here in the end, but 4 drones.
4 for 2 is fine.
Yeah, acceptable trade.
Ooh, there's the first change. Spire at the natural. So we saw Infestation big game 1. Now it's going to be a Spire. RagnaroK mixing up as well. It's just been shut down so far. It's going to come down to that Archon harass. Because here's the other thing again, and I just want to reiterate. When you're a Protoss and all you see is that like smattering of roaches and nothing significant, no Hydras coming out, no upgrades clicking in, you get worried. Something's happening here.
Yep. The Spire's not in the main base, so these Archons are not going to spot it here. That Archon is taking a lot of damage, Neeb. You got to be a little bit careful. You already lost one of them. One Overlord is going to go down once again. I think he warped in. I don't
know that I like this from RagnaroK, by the way. The potential is that Neeb sees this coming, and we already saw Neeb's reaction last time. He feels if you just have those roaches and there's a tech behind it, I think he moves out on the map. And if you move out on the map against these Archons, I think you win as a Protoss. Or excuse me, against Mutatech.
The thing is, it becomes a little bit tricky for Neeb because he lost an Archon, right? So he has slightly less anti-air than he would normally have.
Gateways, Kevin.
Sorry?
He's adding the gateways.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this could still be anybody's game. I don't hate this by RagnaroK. Is it risky? Absolutely, but I can see this paying off because Neeb is still completely in the dark. He's going to make a lot of Zealots soon. I wonder if RagnaroK is going to reveal his Mutas almost immediately. I mean, we've seen this before. Now Zergling speed gets researched as well. I'm super curious about Neeb's response. He's most likely going to see it now with his hallucinated Phoenix. Is he just going to get, let's say, cannons everywhere? He's already getting 1 cannon, by the way, so maybe Neeb, his spider senses are already tingling. And at this point, Neeb knows that it is Mutalisk. Multiple cannons and probably... Do you get Blink? Okay, he wipes in 5 Stalkers immediately, but obviously he doesn't have Blink, Jeff.
Should start that. Maybe get a couple of Tasteless Pylons going here for those Artosis Pylons.
Back him up.
And behind this, it's Roach Ravager maxing out. It's actually so good that Neeb saw it with the Hallucination, though, right? Not the Prism.
Yep. Well, the best thing that Neeb has right now against the Mutas is in general that War Prism with the Archons. That is his most mobile defense. Of course, getting a cannon here and there is going to buy you some time. And now Neeb does fire up Blink, by the way. But Neeb is staying surprisingly calm. He doesn't want to invest in any Stargates. He's like, no, I think I'm actually...
If Neeb takes no economic damage from this, I think he's in such a good spot.
Well, I actually love the defense. The sentries and Stalkers on the north, couple Stalkers in the main base, a cannon, and the 2 Archons in the natural. Neeb is actually handling this like a champ. He is down a lot in supply.
Well,
okay, this is a pretty sick follow-up by RagnaroK. He basically just made 8-9 Mutas to force out a big reaction.
Does he have an Overseer over here? If he doesn't have an Overseer...
Neeb spots it now, by the way, so Neeb knows that this is happening. Okay, Neeb's gonna need some good defense here, but with shield batteries, the Immortals, Force Fields... Neeb, you saw this army! Why did he not react? He saw this army with the Observer.
Oh my god, the Immortals in the front get murdered immediately. There's still a good number of Immortals behind this. And again, there's no detection, so no DTs coming in just yet. Force Field's trying to zone off this army. A bad beginning to the engagement. There come the DTs. Archon's getting ferried over. So not a great start to it, but Neeb holds on.
Those are some real F2 DTs.
Well, he never made any Tasteless Pylons.
Those are the biggest F2 DTs I've seen in a while. They were on a mission, they came all the way back. Neeb, that was kind of odd, because Neeb saw it with his ops. It felt like he had plenty of time to react, but it still kind of caught him off guard. RagnaroK still transitioning behind all of this. This is a beautiful game so far by RagnaroK. I really love almost everything he's doing. He's not overcommitting, not overstepping his boundaries. He's looking for openings, he's finding a couple. The Dark Templars will start doing some damage, but with all the roaches, RagnaroK should be able to deal with this without losing too many drones.
You leaned out on that one, my friend. They're doing a lot of damage.
11 is obviously, I mean, this is very big, but this is not the 40 probes we saw go down in the PvP, for instance.
You're right, Kevin. We've seen more die.
No, but I think this, okay, 12 drones hurt, but he still has 66, right? So it's not like RagnaroK's economy is crippled. Like, no, he's got an economy.
Yeah. I think he's dead, right? Is he dead?
I mean, dead. 27 roaches against 27 stalkers. +1 is finishing up for the roaches, but the stalkers already have +2. I mean,
yeah, this is rough.
I love how Neeb just kind of used the Dark
just
Templars
before the lurkers show up, and he's just going to murderate this army over here. Giant concave, guardian shields are up. Supplies still in favor of RagnaroK, but give it a couple of seconds here. And now the drones are getting pulled. Aggressive blinks from Neeb. He's going to go up there and he says, no, I'm not letting your army out of here. Still no detection. So DTs are the way to defend, and this is just too much Protoss. They get the surround on the army. There's the warp, excuse me. RagnaroK, you've been 3-0'd. Wow. This is, it's going to be a quick day of Starcraft, you guys. What are we doing for dinner?
I don't know what we're doing. Pierogies maybe, Chef.
Yeah, it's got to be pierogies.
Okay. I mean, now all of the drones did go down. The base goes down, and Neeb looked incredibly good in his round of 12 match here.
He got lucky again, though, Kevin. Like, little things. I mean, it's not just luck. I apologize.
This game was solid by Neeb.
But he hits just before lurkers come out. Neeb is doing everything right now. He 3-0's RagnaroK, who's been playing red hot.